Hello. Let's talk about a video project I want you guys to do. It's a very simple project where we're going to take a piece of the musical production that has a lot of cuts and jumps in it. We're going to lay out the production layer, and then I'm going to have you guys cut in um, using DaVinci Resolve or whatever editor you like to use um, to put together a new version of that scene, of that number. The reason I want you to try DaVinci Resolve is one, it's free, so everybody in the team can have it. It's a very good editor. It's get used a lot by people in Hollywood, so it's a pretty decent piece of software. What I'm going to have you use for this project is DaVinci Resolve 17, and it's a public beta. It's free to use. Even once it's out of beta, it'll be free to use the basic version of it. The full version of it is $300, so it's still not terribly expensive, but the version that I'll want you guys to use at the very least is the free version. So to do this today, I'm going to use, this is a machine called Waffles, little tiny machine. He's an MacBook Air. So I'm not using the most powerful machine I have. In fact, I'm using probably the least powerful machine I have. I'm doing that so that you can see the speed and performance of that and not get discouraged if your computer doesn't do as well as, say, the big beast here. So you can use the smaller computer. So what we've got is this guy here. Waffles has got a piece of software on it that takes his screen and creates an NDI feed. So we're used to that, where we're just basically streaming out things. So instead of streaming out a camera, it's streaming out what the desktop looks like. It's streaming that to this machine here. This is our normal machine that we see all the time. His name is Pippi. And if you look here, I don't know if you can see it, but Pippi has Waffles here, which is this machine, and he has this input here. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to use the Waffles input, and then I'm going to start editing this particular project and let you see how we do that. And what I want you guys to do is basically something similar to this. So let's switch over to Waffles, just like that. So we're on Waffles. And if we look here, and you can see the Mr. Mousy, we have cameras 1 through 6 and the produce track. So these are the edit files that we were looking at earlier. And if I this list, you can see I'm using the bigger ones because I want to. Over here, we have a place where we can create a new project. This is DaVinci Resolve, again, the public beta 17. So we'll create a new project. I'm going to call it My First Edit. And there we go. Now we need to put those clips in there. And the easiest way to do that is sort of get import media. So we're going to import the media from that file system. And I have it out over here on this guy. And he is videos there. Open them. So there they are. They're in the system. Now, so again, it's camera 1, 2, 3. They're not in order for whatever reason. Produce track is the baseline. So we're going to create a new timeline. Baseline. And that creates a track. We're in the cut page. So DaVinci has a media page where we manage media. So if we go to that, that's the media. It has a cut page, which lets us cut video. It has an edit page, which lets us tweak the video. It has a fusion page, which is used to create visual effects, special effects. It has a coloring page, so you can change the color of individual clips. It has a Fairlight page, which is a page you use to modify the sound. And it has a rendering page, and that's how you get completed projects turned into video files. Let's go back to the cut page. We're going to use the cut page today to do all of this stuff. So if we go looking through this guy here, there's our video. It's not real fast because, again, this is a fairly slow machine. But if we look out here, let's just take a look. I'm going to take a look. You get done pointing at something. Right here, I want to switch the camera angle that we got. There's got to be a better camera angle than this. This is camera 3, it looks like. So maybe camera 2 has something better for us. So let's go to the sync bin. And in the sync bin, when you do this, it will show you what's going on with all the different cameras at the same time. Looks like camera 3 has a pretty awesome picture of that. So if we go from here to there, and I want to insert that into my timeline. Edit, insert. And so it put, so it went ahead and cut that in. So if I start there and look, that's too far away. Let me turn off that. Is there a magnet in here someplace? I can turn there. Turn the magnet off so I can. So let's go here. Stop. And play. I wanted to see not the sync bin. But I want to see this. And I see that I got my change in. And let's take a look at that. And see, we turned over, but it didn't. It overwrote the sound. So we don't want to do that. So it's easy to change our mind. There. It's gone. And let's go back to camera 3, and we've got that same stuff right there. And so instead of inserting it into the timeline, we just do an edit, place on top. And that puts it right there. So let's go back to our media pool and take a look at what we look like.
I don't think so.
There, that's cool. Let's go find another place where we can put another piece of fill in. That's interesting. What's our sync bill? Let's have a close-up on 4 here. Camera 5 has a close-up. let's insert that. I like that close-up. So that close-up goes from here to here. It's a nice close-up. So let's take that and let's edit and place that on top. And so I put it right there. Now, let's say we wanted to have this particular guy come in, not just jump. So let's go to the edit page. So here is the same thing, and let's watch it in the editor. So obviously, we got the wrong piece of film. We just make that a little bigger and make that a little bit smaller. We got the wrong thing. That happens. So let's see what this looks like. There we go. And so right about there we go. Oh wait, right about there is where that stops. You can tell from the sound. So if we look at it the way we just edited it, go. That looks pretty good. Now I'll show you what it looked like before we made those changes. Now, one other cool thing we can do is let's go in here. I want to fade into that. So we're going to trim, and we'll say fade into playhead. Whoops. I got the sound here faded into playhead too. So let's delete. Let's take edit and trim. Faded playhead. Now let's take a look at what this looks like. Well, let's take a look over here. Okay, so notice that I got it over the top of a thingy, so we'll just make that a little bit bigger. Still, bring it out a little bit more. Now, bring this out a little bit more. And there we go. So let's just take, we've done a few edits. Let's say we've done a bunch of different things. Let me save this. Command S or Control S. Control Z. The other thing you can do, turn the block on. Now then, put that there. What does that look like? Now, let's take that thing and let's go back to the cut page. So we have that. Oop. There. Transitions. Let's do, what does an arrow iris look like? Diamond iris. That's kind of cute. So we'll take that and we'll just drop it in right here. Now, let's take a look at what our film looks like. There, so we got one cute thing. Now, when you're using transitions, this is one thing I really wanted to talk about. First of all, when you cut film, you want to make sure that the cuts happen when no one's talking. So you're looking at the sound a lot to make sure that your cuts are occurring where there's very little sound. The next thing I wanted to talk about was that, I did a very simple sort of fade and splice there. I could have done a bunch of different things. I can use blunt cuts, which what the industry used forever. You can use simple fade transitions that I will use, and that's what we use in Wirecast a lot. And then you can do these other fancy transitions. So the fancy transitions, don't use them a lot. I just put one in there to take a look at, but don't use those a lot. Those are not great. So they look wonderful, but use them sparingly. Now let's go ahead and take this thing here and say, this is my first edit, and I'm going to put it someplace. And usually the fastest, cleanest way to put it someplace is stick it on the desktop. I'm not going to make it a movie file, but let's change that from QuickTime to MP4. And everything else looks fine. So first edit, blah, 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 add it to the render queue. I have something in the render queue here, and I just do a render all, and it goes off and renders it. Now, the thing I want you to notice in this is, one, this is not a really fast computer. Obviously, editing over on Pippi is a lot faster than editing on this little guy. But this little guy can handle it. The projects that we're going to have in this class are going to be less than 4 minutes for the most part. So the next couple of things we have are, there's that April Fool's project. There's the project for the bank, which can't be more than 90 seconds. And then there's the commercials, which are going to be 30 seconds a piece. So certainly a small computer can handle that. One of the things I want you to do with this is take this stuff home with you, this thumb drive, and see if your computer that you have at home can handle it. And come back and tell me if you can't. I don't know what we'll do, but we need to know now before we start building a bunch of projects what you can and cannot do on your own and on your own time. Okay, so it finished it, and it finished it in 3 minutes and 19 seconds, which isn't bad. I mean, it's a 4 minutes and 10-second video. There are machines that are considerably faster that can do this in under a minute. One sitting right next to me comes to mind. But again, for the difference in price, this is a MacBook Air. So it costs 1/5 of the amount of money that the bigger machine costs. So anyway, let's take a look at what we've got. Let's go ahead and save everything. Turn off DaVinci Resolve. And let's take a look at our first edit. And there it is. So here's where we caught in some new film. Okay, so there you go. We saw our stupid cut that we just did. So that's all there is to it. What I encourage you to do is install DaVinci Resolve 17 on your machine and play with it. There's all kinds of things you can do in there, and just explore it. There are videos online. YouTube videos talking about how you use DaVinci Resolve. There's a huge, gigantic manual. Don't print it. It will take all day or 2 or 3 days to print. So, but anyway, there's all kinds of stuff out there that's help. And we'll just start learning how to do this. This is an important skill to have. You need to learn at least one editor. This is not a bad one to learn how to use, and just have fun with it.